Hello, everyone, and welcome to the only English lesson you will ever need to finally stop translating in your head and start thinking like a native speaker. Today, we are not just learning words, we are going to completely reprogram how you view your daily life through the lens of the English language. We are going to walk through every single moment of a standard day, from the second you open your eyes to the moment you fall asleep, and I am going to give you the exact phrases, the specific vocabulary, and the natural sentence structures that native speakers use. This is about your daily routine, but it is also about fluency, confidence, and mastering the simple art of narrating your life. If you have been looking for a sign to take your English seriously, this is it, and if you find yourself getting value from this approach, do make sure to click that subscribe button so we can keep building your skills together. Let us begin right at the start of the day. The very first thing that happens is that your alarm goes off. Notice I did not say the alarm rings, although that is correct. Native speakers very often say the alarm goes off. You hear that sound, and you have two choices. You can either wake up immediately, meaning you open your eyes and you are conscious, or you can hit the snooze button to sleep for another 10 minutes. This distinction is important because waking up and getting up are two different actions. Waking up is when your brain activates and your eyes open. Getting up is the physical action of leaving your bed and putting your feet on the floor. You might wake up at 7 o'clock, but you might not get up until 7:15. Once you are up, the very first good habit you should describe is making the bed. You straighten the sheets, you fluff the pillows, and you make the bed look tidy. Now you move to the bathroom. This is where we have a lot of specific daily routine vocabulary. You go to the sink to wash your face. You might use a face wash or just plain water. Then you grab your toothbrush and toothpaste. You squeeze the toothpaste onto the brush and you brush your teeth. Notice the prepositions here. You squeeze it onto the brush. After that, you might rinse your mouth with mouthwash and perhaps floss your teeth. If you are a man who shaves, you apply shaving cream and use a razor to shave your facial hair. If you are taking a shower, you step into the shower or get in the shower. You turn on the faucet or the tap. You might wash your hair with shampoo and condition it with conditioner. When you are finished, you turn off the water, step out, and dry yourself off with a towel. These are small actions, but being able to say, I am drying myself off, is what separates a beginner from an intermediate learner. After the bathroom, it is time to get dressed. We often use the phrasal verbs put on and take off. You put on your shirt, you put on your pants, and you put on your socks. Alternatively, you can say you are getting dressed. If you are unsure what to wear, you might look in your closet or wardrobe and pick out an outfit. Maybe you need to dress up because you have an important meeting, which means wearing formal clothes, or maybe you're just dressing down because it is a casual day. Once you are dressed, you head to the kitchen. This is a very common phrase, to head somewhere, which simply means to go there. In the kitchen, it is time for breakfast. You might say, I am going to make breakfast or I am going to fix breakfast. If you like coffee, you brew a cup of coffee. You do not just cook coffee, you brew it or you make it. You might pour some milk into your cereal, or you might toast some bread in the toaster to make toast. Perhaps you butter the toast or spread some jam on it. If you are in a rush, you might just grab a quick bite, which implies eating something small and fast before leaving. Now you are ready to leave the house. You put on your shoes, grab your keys, and say goodbye to anyone else in the house. You walk out the door and lock it behind you. This is the start of your commute. Your commute is the journey you take from your home to your workplace or school. If you drive, you get into your car, buckle your seatbelt, and start the engine. You back out of the driveway and hit the road. If you take public transportation, you might walk to the bus stop to catch the bus, or walk to the subway station to take the train. A common frustration during the morning commute is traffic. You might get stuck in a traffic jam, which means the cars are not moving. You might say traffic is bumper to bumper, meaning the cars are very close together. If you are taking the bus, you get on the bus. Remember, for large vehicles like buses, trains, and planes, we say get on, but for cars and taxis, we say get in. When you finally arrive at work or school, you settle in. You might hang up your coat and sit down at your desk. If you work in an office, the first thing you usually do is check your emails. You scroll through your inbox, reply to urgent messages, and delete the spam. Maybe you have a meeting scheduled. You attend the meeting, take notes, and perhaps give a presentation. If you are a student, you attend classes or lectures. You listen to the teacher, take notes in your notebook, and participate in class discussions. We often talk about being productive in the morning. To be productive means you are getting a lot of work done. You are focused. You might say, I am swamped with work today if you are very busy, or I have a lot on my plate, which is a great idiom meaning you have many tasks to complete. Around midday, it is time for a break. We call this the lunch break. You might have brought a packed lunch from home, or you might go out to eat with colleagues or friends. If you go to a cafeteria or a restaurant, you stand in line, order your food, and pay for it. While eating, you engage in small talk. Small talk is polite conversation about unimportant things like the weather, sports, or weekend plans. You might ask a coworker simply, "How is your day going?" Or, "What are you working on?" After lunch, you head back to work. The afternoon can sometimes feel slow, and you might feel a bit tired. We often call this the afternoon slump. To fight this, you might stretch your legs, which means standing up and walking around a bit, or grab a snack from the vending machine. As the workday comes to an end, you start to wrap things up. To wrap up means to finish your tasks and prepare to stop working. You save your files, shut down your computer, and organize your desk. You clock out if you are an hourly worker or you simply leave the office. This time of day is often called rush hour because everyone is leaving work at the same time and the traffic is usually heavy. You make your way home, and this is often a time to unwind. To unwind means to relax after doing something tiring or stressful. You might listen to a podcast or some music on your way home to decompress. When you arrive home, you unlock the door, step inside, and take off your shoes. You might change out of your work clothes and into something more comfortable, like sweatpants or pajamas, which we sometimes call loungewear. Now begins the evening routine. This often involves chores. Chores are the routine tasks you must do to keep your house clean. You might have to do the laundry, which involves putting dirty clothes in the washing machine, then transferring them to the dryer, and finally folding them and putting them away. You might have to load the dishwasher if you have dirty dishes, or wash the dishes by hand at the sink. If the trash can is full, you take out the trash. These are not exciting activities, but they are essential parts of describing your day. Dinner is the main event of the evening. You have to decide what to eat. You might cook dinner from scratch, which means using fresh ingredients, or you might heat up leftovers from the previous night. Leftovers are the food remaining from a meal that you did not finish. If you are too tired to cook, you might order takeout, where you call a restaurant and they bring the food to your house. While you have dinner, you might sit at the dining table with your family and catch up. To catch up means to talk to each other about what happened during the day. You might ask your children or partner, "How was your day?" Or "Did anything interesting happen?" This is a great time to practice past tense verbs because you are telling stories about things that have already finished. After dinner, it is time for leisure and relaxation. You might go into the living room and sit on the couch or sofa. You might turn on the TV and binge watch a series. Binge watching means watching many episodes of a show one after another. Or perhaps you prefer to read a book, scroll through social media on your phone, or pursue a hobby like playing the guitar or knitting. This is your free time. It is important to know how to describe how you feel at this time. You might say, "I am exhausted," meaning very tired, or "I am worn out." You might say, "I am just chilling," which is a very common informal way to say you are relaxing and doing nothing in particular. As the night gets later, you begin your bedtime routine. You might go around the house turning off the lights and checking that the doors are locked. You go back to the bathroom to get ready for bed. This is similar to the morning routine, but in reverse. You brush your teeth again, wash your face to remove the day's dirt or makeup, and perhaps take a warm bath or shower to help you sleep. You change into your pajamas. You might set your alarm for the next morning on your phone. Then you pull back the covers and get into bed. You might spend a few minutes reading or reflecting on the day. Finally, you turn off the bedside lamp. There are many ways to say you are going to sleep. You can simply say, "I am going to bed." You can use the idiom, "I am going to hit the hay," or "I am going to hit the sack." You can say, "I am going to turn in for the night." As you close your eyes, you hopefully fall asleep quickly. If you fall asleep very fast, we say you went out like a light. If you sleep very deeply, we say you slept like a log. And if you have trouble sleeping, you might say you tossed and turned all night. Now, I want to pause here and talk about a very important concept for your learning. Notice how I narrated every single small step. Most learners just say, "I woke up, went to work, and came home." That is too simple. You need to fill in the gaps. You need the connecting words. Use words like afterwards, then, subsequently, and once I was done. For example, instead of saying "I ate breakfast and went to work," say, "Once I was done with breakfast, I headed out to work." This makes your English flow. It makes you sound sophisticated. Another crucial aspect of mastering daily routine vocabulary is understanding frequency adverbs. These are words that tell us how often you do something. Words like always, usually, frequently, often, sometimes, occasionally, rarely, hardly ever, and never. You should practice placing these in your sentences. I always brush my teeth. I usually take the bus. I rarely eat fast food. I never forget to lock the door. Try to take the routine we just described and apply these words to your own life. Maybe you do not drink coffee. Maybe you never brew coffee, but you always make tea. Customizing this script to your reality is what will make the words stick in your memory. We also need to talk about feelings and emotions during the day. Your routine is not just actions, it is how you experience them. In the morning, you might feel groggy, which means you are sleepy and not fully alert. During the commute, you might feel anxious if you are running late. At work, you might feel overwhelmed if you have too much to do, or accomplished if you finish a big project. In the evening, you might feel relieved that the day is over. Using these adjectives adds color to your English. Do not just be a robot performing tasks. Be a human describing an experience. Let us look at some common phrasal verbs that appear specifically in daily routines because native speakers use them constantly. We already mentioned wake up, get up, put on, and take off. But think about look after. Maybe you have to look after your children or a pet. This means to take care of them. Think about drop off. Maybe you drop off your kids at school on your way to work. This means you take them there and leave them. Think about pick up. After work, you might pick up some groceries from the store. Think about clean up. After dinner, you need to clean up the kitchen. These two-word verbs are the heart of natural English conversation. If you use the formal word establish instead of set up, or the formal word remove instead of take off, you will be understood, but you will sound stiff and formal. To sound natural, you must embrace these phrasal verbs. I also want to address the continuous tense versus the simple tense. When you are describing your general routine, the things you do every day, you use the present simple tense. I wake up at 7. I eat lunch at noon. But if you are describing what you are doing right now, in this exact moment, you use the present continuous tense. I am watching a video. I am studying English. A great way to practice is to narrate your life in real time. As you are washing the dishes, say out loud to yourself, I am washing the dishes. I am scrubbing the plate. I am rinsing the glass. This technique is powerful because it connects the physical action directly to the English word, bypassing your native language completely. You might be thinking that your routine is boring and not worth describing. That is a mistake. The boring parts of life are where the most common vocabulary lives. You will not often need to discuss astrophysics or ancient history, but you will need to ask for a towel, complain about the traffic, or explain that you are tired every single day. Mastering the mundane is the fastest path to fluency. It builds the foundation that allows you to eventually talk about complex topics. If you cannot describe making toast, you cannot describe a business strategy effectively because you lack the basic sentence structures that hold the language together. Now, I know that everyone's routine is different. You might work the night shift. You might be a stay-at-home parent. You might be a student preparing for exams. The vocabulary I gave you covers the standard day, but you will have specific things you do that I did not mention. Maybe you meditate. Maybe you go to the gym and lift weights. Maybe you walk the dog. If there is a specific part of your day that you do not know how to describe in English, or if there is a specific phrase you are struggling to translate, please do not go searching through complicated apps or websites that might confuse you. Instead, I want you to use the comment section below. If you have any question related to English or your daily routine, just type it in the comments. Ask me, how do I say this, or what is the word for that, and I will do my best to answer you directly. We can build a library of daily routine vocabulary right there in the comments section. Remember that consistency is key. Just like your daily routine involves doing the same things every day to keep your life in order, learning English requires that same repetition. You do not need to study for 5 hours once a week. You need to study for 15 minutes every single day. Make English a part of your routine, just like brushing your teeth. Listen to something in English while you commute. Speak to yourself in English while you shower. Read one page of an English book before you sleep. If you integrate the language into the routine we just discussed, you will stop treating English like a subject you have to study and start treating it like a tool you use to live. Let's review the flow one more time to make sure it is locked in your mind. Morning, alarm, snooze, get up, bathroom, brush teeth, shower, get dressed, breakfast, coffee. Commute, bus, car, traffic, drive, walk. Work, emails, meetings, tasks, lunch break, colleagues. Evening, return home, cook, clean, relax, TV, books. Night, pajamas, wash face, set alarm, sleep. Visualize this timeline. Close your eyes and run through your own day using these English tags. If you get stuck on a tag, that is your gap. That is what you need to learn next. The goal is to reach a point where you look at a coffee machine and the word coffee machine pops into your head before the word in your native language. When you look at your bed, you think bed. When you feel tired, you think exhausted. This shift happens gradually, but it starts with the deliberate practice of naming your reality. Do not be afraid to sound silly talking to yourself. Every polyglot and successful language learner talks to themselves. It is the rehearsal stage before the performance. You are capable of mastering this. The English language is vast, but your daily life is manageable. Conquer your daily routine first, and you will find that you have conquered 50% of daily conversation. Most of our chats with friends are just variations of telling them what we did today, what we are doing now, or what we will do tomorrow. If you own this vocabulary, you own the conversation. So, here is my challenge to you for tomorrow. From the moment you wake up, I want you to try to narrate your first hour. Narrate it out loud if you are alone, or in your head if people are around. Say the sentences. I am getting up. I am walking to the bathroom. I am looking in the mirror. See how far you can get before you have to stop. If you can do the first hour, try the second hour the next day. Build it up block by block. Thank you so much for investing your time in this lesson. I hope this detailed breakdown of daily life gives you the tools you need to speak with more confidence and clarity. Learning a language is a journey of 1,000 small steps, and today you took a giant leap by analyzing the very structure of your day. If you found this approach helpful and you want to keep improving your English in a practical, no-nonsense way, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps support the work we do here and ensures you do not miss out on future lessons designed to get you fluent fast. And remember, if you have those specific questions, drop them in the comments. Keep practicing, keep narrating, and I will see you in the next video.